Election officials in North Carolina unanimously voted not to certify the winner of the state's 9th district congressional election. As it currently stands, Republican Mark Harris holds a 905-vote lead over Democrat Dan McCready. But the Harris campaign is being accused of coordinating an effort to collect ballots from voters and either fill them in for Harris or throw them away if the vote was for McCready. Well, those actions are illegal. And joining me now outside the Bladen County Courthouse in Elizabethtown, North Carolina, Nick Ochsner. He's a chief investigative reporter for our Charlotte affiliate, WBTV. So, Nick, what is going on in the 9th District?
Well, that's the question everyone's trying to figure out. What we know right now is that there are questions surrounding the harvesting of absentee ballots. We know in Bladen County and a couple other counties around here that there are efforts, people get paid, like the guy who got paid by the Mark Harris campaign, to go around and encourage people to request absentee ballots and then ostensibly to go around, they would say, and make sure they fill those out. So now there has been some evidence come forward suggesting that people went around, presumably some employed by the contractor working for the Harris campaign, and one, asked people if they had an absentee ballot, two, helped them fill it out or told them to check a couple races and give it back to them unsealed or unreturned. So that's what the State Board of Elections is investigating now, as well as the Wake County District Attorney in the North Carolina State Bureau of Investigation.
And Nick, you have some exclusive reporting about those absentee ballot operations in Bladen County. What can you tell us?
Yeah, well, until today, all of the speculation had centered on one guy named McCrae Dallas. He's the guy who worked for the Mark Harris campaign. But today we obtained a page of handwritten notes that were provided to us by two people who saw the notes left behind by a man named Jeff Smith. He's a local businessman. He also sits on a local town's board of aldermen. These notes specifically refer to also collecting unsealed absentee ballots, and specifically the notes say collect unsealed, it's underlined twice, and then also outline a payment scheme where if you collected 150 of these, you'd get paid $500. If you collected 250 of these, you'd get paid $1,000. We've asked Smith about these notes. He says he didn't have an arrangement like that, but then when I sent him a picture of the notes, he didn't have a response.
So what ultimately happens if it's determined that there is wrongdoing in this election?
Well, and of course, there are two elections really that people are looking at. There's the primary election, and that's the election where the notes we got today are related to. But then there's a general election from November between Harris and McCready. So ultimately, the board could vote, and we're a long way away from this. But it is a possibility that the State Board of Election could vote to hold an entirely new election. There will be an evidentiary hearing scheduled sometime before December 21st. We don't know when exactly yet. So we're a long way away from that decision, but that is a possibility.
Do you think there could be legal punishment if there's wrongdoing found?
Well, and certainly I spoke today with the Wake County District Attorney. The Bladen County DA here has recused himself, so this matter is being handled by the Wake County District Attorney. She tells me that her office has been investigating these questions surrounding the impropriety and the irregularities. They've been investigating since January of 2017 with the State Bureau of Investigation. That's a long time. And then after we obtained the second set of documents, I called her back and I said, hey, are you looking at one person, a number of people? Because previously all the attention had been on one guy. She said that they certainly have a number of potential targets. She wasn't ready to name them yet, but this is an ongoing criminal investigation in addition to the ongoing investigation by the State Board of Elections. So that's certainly possible there could be criminal consequences here.
Nick Ochsner, North Carolina. Thank you for your time, Nick.